I know Chigs is in here recording or some shit.
No Chid Smooth in here, right? So whatever you say,
you know, Chig gonna have everything up there.
whatever you say, Chid's gonna be on YouTube with it, man.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Chig Smooth. So as the Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears saga continues, I just actually read right now about an hour ago that the person suing them is actually calling for them to be arrested immediately. Most comedians are not really speaking up right now. I'm gonna assume this is more so them trying to stay on code. It's interesting because if this happened to anyone else outside of the comedic realm, they will be the first ones to hop on Instagram Live or make a funny post about it. But one person that's stepping up to the plate and providing more details and actually speaking more in depth about this whole situation is none other than my guy, Van Lathan. Shout out to my guy, Decatur Q, for telling me about this. Van has a podcast on Spotify called Higher Learning. Make sure you guys go check it out for the full clip. But I'm going to play you guys a small little clip about what Van said about it. I thought it was pretty insightful. And Van wasn't trying to defend it by saying that it was old and that humor has changed nowadays. He said it was weird back then when he watched it, and also said it was weird now and that there's no way to defend it. Here's a clip. Tell me what you guys think about this opinion. Push comments below. Again, shout out to my guy, Van Lathan. Please go listen to the full podcast, Higher Learning on Spotify. I'll see you guys later, man.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Okay.
And I'm purposely not watching it. And I'm not, let me make clear, I'm not watching it because I'm, choosing a side. I just don't want to see it.
Right.
I just find it extremely disturbing. And I accidentally watched the Dan Harmon one, and that was too much for me.
So on examination of the sketch, I realized something. I had already seen it. So
Ooh.
There was so let me paint the time for you guys. I'd say, especially out here in Los Angeles, there was a boom towards the late part of last decade to the early part of, the late part of the 2000s to the early part of the 10s of a self-produced content. There was a self-produced content boom.
Yes.
YouTube explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all of these different web series and all of these different self-produced sketches that are coming out, right? And people are uploading them in different places. Dan Harmon himself, who is the creator of Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon had this thing in LA called Channel 101, which was a running web series competition show that took place at CineSpace. You would submit a sketch, and then the audience would vote on whether or not they wanted another episode. So they give you a series order almost every single week. It was a fun time. And there was only a matter of time before comedians and people around started doing this for themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart had several different online YouTube personas. He would do the chocolate dropper thing. He would rap. He would do all kinds of different stuff, and they would produce these things. Aries Spears started doing this as well. I remember specifically Aries Spears doing it because he produced two sketches that I remember people really being disgusted by. One was this sketch where he was like like some kind of rapper. And he was rapping, and he was in a thong in the video, and it was like all kinds of it was just weird. It wasn't funny at all. Mm-hmm. And then there was this one. And I remember specifically being on the message board where somebody put this on the message board and said, no, Aries Spears is super duper sick. Like, this isn't funny. Nobody thought it was funny then, is my point. I remember watching it. I hadn't thought about it in years because this must have been like 2010, maybe a little bit after that, something like that. But nobody thought it was funny then, which is why he ended up removing it and taking it off Funny or Die. Everybody was uploading stuff to Funny or Die. There's an old, We Made It. You never saw me with Batman? You never saw that sketch before? You never seen that before?
We talked about it before,
right.
And I looked it up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was doing this at the time. And a lot of those things from that era were really fucked up because people were doing stuff. So I didn't realize that I had seen it before. Seeing it now, it's even worse than I remember it then. And everybody got on their ass then. The only thing that we didn't know was who Tiffany Haddish was. You know what I mean? So we didn't know because she's only in the beginning of it, then she leaves. And so nobody even knew like who she was. And the focus of this ended up being on Aries Spears, right? Because Aries Spears at the time, number one, it was his sketch for his website. But at the time, it ended up being on Aries because he was the person that everybody knew. From what I'm to understand about this situation is that there's been some contact between the mother in this situation and Aries Spears over the years. And maybe, you know what? I don't even want to get into that. What I want to get into is, obviously this looks bad. The question is, if you're Aries or Tiffany, what do you do? Like, if you're Aries or Tiffany, that there is no way to defend the sketch itself. You know, I don't want to talk about any of the other stuff that I know about this situation. But there is no way to defend the sketch itself. The question is, what do you do? Like, what do you do now? Is an apology enough here? Is some sort of mea culpa in a different way? I really don't know, because obviously that sketch is wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you hear that barking?
No. Obviously that sketch is wrong. So what do you do?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say what you should do, because it sounds like you know more details than the rest of us do.
Well, the details I know won't change the fact that the sketch was made and people were in the sketch. So the details that I know, whether or not,
seemed like it was something that would change your opinion.
No, it wouldn't change your opinion. It's just that I don't want to give any details that I might know that might, it doesn't matter, because the reality of it is that the sketch was still produced and made, and they were still in it. So the question is, for Rachel Lindsay or Donnie Beecham to not have their opinion changed about Tiff, like, what would have to happen?
Well, I would want to hear more from her than the apology. I think what a lot of people want to understand is, why did this happen? Why would you even want to do it? What were you thinking? What was the motivation behind it that you were thinking? What was your relationship with this mother, that this mother signed off on allowing her children to be a part of it? What was the agreement? What was the discussion? Did she know? Did she see it? Like, I need that. I want to hear from the people that were actually involved. Take me back to this time period of how this all played out.